Hello, this is Frank Mealy from HeartlandDiaryUSA.com, bringing you news every conservative can use. Well, you probably heard that Trish Regan has been let go by Fox Business. This report from March 9th was what caused her demise. Apparently, Trish Regan is too smart for Fox Business and maybe too smart for TV. She said that the Democrats and the media were aiming to impeach Trump over the coronavirus. They tried to make it out like she was saying coronavirus was a hoax or a scam, but she was talking about the Democrats' efforts to pin the blame for anything that happened on President Trump. And now, 2 weeks later, Nancy Pelosi is talking about blaming President Trump for the deaths caused by coronavirus and having an after-action review, which sounds an awful lot like an impeachment to me. Watch and be sad that we won't have Trish Regan on Fox Business anymore.
We've reached a tipping point. The chorus of hate being leveled at the president is nearing a crescendo as Democrats blame him and only him for a virus that originated halfway around the world. This is yet another attempt to impeach the president. And sadly, it seems they care very little for any of the destruction they are leaving in their wake. Losses in the stock market. All this, unfortunately, just part of the political casualties for them. You know, this is a time to be united, not to be pointing fingers, not to be encouraging hate, and yet what do we see? We see the absolute opposite from the left tonight. Good evening, everyone. I am Trish Regan. The hate is boiling over, many in the liberal media using, and I mean using, coronavirus in an attempt to demonize and destroy the president.
I don't think the president is capable of telling us the truth about the coronavirus.
They have no plan. They have no plan. The virus is going to kill Americans regardless of their stupidity.
This administration right now looks like they couldn't organize a one-car parade. He is not going to be able to have his rallies, and it is going to psychologically torment him.
The president should lead, or else he should get out of the way. Stay on the golf course.
This may be Donald Trump's Katrina.
Yeah.
This is an event that could take down a president.
There's no confidence in the president in anything he says or does. I wish he would just be quiet.
I see. This is impeachment all over again. And like with the Mueller investigation, like with Ukraine Gate, they don't care who they hurt. Whether it be their need to create mass hysteria to encourage a market sell-off, unlike anything we've seen recently, or whether it be to create mass hysteria in order to stop our economy dead in its tracks. Don't kid yourself. They told us how much they crave a recession as a way to get rid of Donald Trump.
Do you see now why I say we need a recession? I know it's going to be painful, but we have to get rid of this guy.
A recession is a survivable event. What Trump is doing to this country is not. Recessions are survivable events. I've been hoping for a recession. People hate me for it, but it would get rid of Trump, so you shouldn't hate me for it.
I mean, recessions are really bad. People lose their jobs and
I know.
and we shouldn't wish.
It's worth it.
You know, of course, these are people's jobs that the left does not mind seeing them lose. These are people's 401ks that are being decimated. And that's okay with them? That's okay with the left? Yeah. You know, in some ways, they almost seem to be cheering it on.
Containment has failed and mitigation is the next objective.
It is a pandemic.
I'm glad that CNN is calling this new coronavirus outbreak for what it is, which is a pandemic.
This is sort of a perfect storm.
The ship has sailed here.
CNN is now calling the coronavirus outbreak a pandemic.
To say this thing is contained, that is a flat-out lie.
It's important, I think, to call this a pandemic.
This is impeachment all over again, complete with a whistleblower to complain about our Health and Human Services Committee, right? It's critical, you know what, that we look at these numbers with a clear lens. I want to remind everyone that the CDC estimates that this year's seasonal flu has resulted in roughly 34 million cases and 20,000 deaths in the United States alone. The seasonal flu. From 2009 to 2010, nearly 61 million Americans got swine flu, and more than 12,000 Americans died. As many as 575,000 people worldwide died of the swine flu. And was there any criticism? No. Because why? Because the media didn't want to insult their precious President Obama, I suppose. You know, I spoke with a doctor on Friday who told me that the World Health Organization and others, they typically do whatever they can to get the word out. It's critical that people are aware of the problems so that the public can improve hygiene routines and health routines. This is what helps in terms of lessening the infection rate. But you know what? The media's reaction with the global town halls and CNN treating this like it's some missing plane story. What is that? I mean, did they do this during Ebola? No. We didn't even see this kind of insanity for SARS. And SARS and Ebola, those viruses were far more deadly. So why the melodrama on such an agitated scale right now? Why are the markets reacting like this? I'll give you 2 words. Donald Trump. And the media doesn't like him. People, including the media, and some investors are allowing their own hate and their own bias against him to spiral out of control, leading to massive sell-offs right now in the market. Anytime there's this kind of disruption in the supply chain, anytime people cut back on spending, there will be economic softness, which can lead to a recession. And we're probably due for one now. But we'll recover. We always do. For the media to spin a narrative that this sell-off and this virus are all a result of President Trump, it's just wrong. But unfortunately, I guess they needed someone to blame. They were looking for someone to blame. They want to blame him for literally anything they can. And they have no real interest, shall we say, in finding who's to blame, who is the root cause of all this. From what we can tell, this all originated out of China. You know, when Donald Trump is their political target, that's all they need. And that's tonight's intel.